let's talk about the actual process of becoming a foster parent. This varies widely by state or country or even by agency. Like you can have another family that lives in your town, but you guys are with different agencies and you have completely different experiences. But there are some general themes, so let's go ahead and get those out there. I think first you would definitely attend an orientation that's going to be like an hour or an hour and a half or so. You would then attend several trainings, I think anywhere from like 30 to 40 hours of trainings, everything from like trauma-informed care to behavior management to car seat safety, water safety, goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, various trainings like that, maybe developmental milestones. Anyway, a lot of trainings, child abuse prevention, child abuse recognition. And then there's going to be a lot of tricky stuff with your house or your home, and that's probably where it varies the most. For instance, some agencies are okay with trampolines as long as they have the net out around it or whatever, and some are not at all okay with trampolines. Some want all the medicines locked up, some want them locked up under 2 locks, some want some medications under 2 locks, but others under 1 lock is fine. And then the cleaners have to be locked up, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detector. If you have any weapons of any sort, like archery equipment or guns or fireworks or things, they have to be properly stored and locked as well. Even lawn equipment, they want that properly like locked and out of reach. All the plug protectors, and all the child proofing and things like that. So we don't need to get too detailed on that because your agency or whoever you get licensed with will definitely have a list of all those things. And so you'll prepare your home, and then there's like a fire inspection, or there is in Texas, where the fire marshal's office does it, and that's where they come in, they look for those smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide detectors, and maybe even at your water heater and fire escape routes and things like that. Then in Texas, we also do a health and safety inspection. And so that's almost like a health department inspection. Like for me, the health department doesn't do it. In some places it might actually be the health department, but it's things like no food stored on the floor, like not even in the pantry. You can't have it on the pantry floor, even the bottled water. It all needs to be up somewhere or off the floor. And soap and towels have to be in at every sink. There needs to be running hot water at all the sinks. I mean, some of it's pretty basic, but by gosh, you better have soap and towels at every sink at every inspection. I know people who have kind of maybe forgotten that in their spare bathroom or something. So you got to have soap everywhere. And they look for things like standing water for mosquitoes or like hazards in the yard and things like that. But again, pretty basic. There's some weird rules some places, like you have to write the date on maybe leftovers in your fridge or no expired foods, things like that. Then I in Texas had to get like a tuberculosis test, and then of course background checks, had to get several references, had to line up some babysitters, and all of that took it's kind of arranged. Some of it is at your own pace. And so if you really want to get it done, you could probably get licensed within 3 to 4 months. It's really slowed down during the time of COVID though. So if we're still in COVID when you're watching this, I would plan on about 9 months to get licensed. Anyway, after you complete all the trainings, all the inspections, everything's ready to go, then finally you will conclude with what's called a home study. And I want to point out this because it's a misconception I had. I assumed that the home study meant that they were going to come look around my house and like make sure it was safe and all the stuff that they had pretty much already done, but they were going to do it again. That's not correct. That's what all those inspections and stuff for. The home study is like an interview. It is all about you, and they will interview everybody in the home. So if it's just you, it's pretty short. They interview just you. If it's you and a spouse, they interview both of you. They'll interview any children that you already have individually also. And that home study is the most important part. It's the picture of you. It's a fairly lengthy report about you and your home and your family. And that is what is going to get shown to all the caseworkers to determine if you'd be a good fit for that child, whether it's, or that sibling group, whether it's adoptive or a foster placement. That home study is really like everything for you. But the reason I bring that up is, although it's an interview, it's very personal. It's like a counseling session. Like, they go all through your childhood, like any personal traumas you've experienced and how you coped with them, as well as anything you've got going on right now. And you know, I wasn't quite prepared for that, so it took me off guard, I completely admit. So I want you to be prepared for that and know that that's coming. And then they briefly look around your home, just kind of get the vibe of how you've set up the bedrooms and everything. Oh, so you do need to have the bedrooms set up ready for kids at your home study. So if you're setting up for ages like 0 to 5, you do need to have a crib or toddler bed, you know, whatever furniture you're gonna have ready for that child. Or if you're like me, I really prefer school-age children. That middle school age is my perfect age to work with. But I do have a pack and play in case I should get a younger child or in case there's an infant. And so if you have a situation like that, like the pack and play isn't out, it's like under my bed. So point that out to the home study worker so that they know that maybe this is your preferred age range, but you're open to more. Whatever little details like that, just make it super clear to the home study social worker that's going to come interview you. Also, the home study worker is going to be a completely different person from like whoever's been helping you with the trainings and such, you know, prior to that. So it's going to be a stranger, which good and bad, I guess. I mean, again, it's kind of like going in for a counseling session, and so maybe it's nice to have somebody different. Now, I don't want that to be confused with like the initial first home inspection. So most agencies, or my agency did this, like when you first go to that interest meeting, you fill out the application, they do come out and do like an initial home visit. And that is just to more or less be like, yeah, this home could foster, or like, no, this home is living in a garage only, you know, there's no actual home here, we can't license this person, and so they don't want to move any further. So that's just that initial first visit. That's not the home study. The actual home study that I'm referencing is at the very end of this whole process, and is lengthy. So after that, though, you're basically licensed. And again, so that process could, before COVID, I mean, it could take anywhere from 3 to 4 months. And during COVID, it's taking more like 9 months to even a year. So it is what it is. But while I've got you on the video, I also want to highlight the like emotional journey of getting licensed to become a foster parent, because I feel like that's not often discussed. And there is an emotional journey in the same way that if you were having a biological child, there would be kind of some hormone changes and some ups and downs with that. So I want you to know that that's totally normal. And some things that I experienced were like after the first big training, which I think it was like a 6-hour training on a Saturday, and it was about trauma-informed care and described all the different behaviors and needs that the foster kids were going to have. That was very intimidating to me. And I work in the trauma field for my profession, for my day job, right? So even for me to be overwhelmed by that, I thought, my gosh, like somebody who's totally new to this world would just really feel like they were unqualified or unfit for this. And so if you experience that, I just want you to know that's totally normal. Keep going. Maybe talk to somebody or talk to your caseworker about those feelings if they do come up for you. But know that you can do this. And the fact that that hits you so hard that you acknowledge that, oh, this is going to be maybe rougher than I thought, or this is a big deal, these behaviors do matter, I think that means that you are going to handle that correctly. You're not just trying to be all butterflies and unicorns about it. Like, you know, this is going to be a difficult journey for you. So I think that's actually a good thing. Some other things that happened as well, I mean, again, those highs and lows, like you're really excited, but some things that are specific to single foster parenting, I didn't anticipate how lonely the process would be. Like, there's no spouse to like be excited with me. Like there was just I mean, I have friends in a small social group, but nobody really like got it, you know, nobody was really excited with me. And that's why I'm so thankful for like Facebook support groups, and there are Facebook groups even specific to single moms. But like I can remember even wanting one of my friends to go shopping with me to like buy the stuff to set up the room for the kid. Like I was really excited. I wanted her to go shopping with me and be excited with me, and she wouldn't really do that. And she was a bad friend. I mean, she was a terrible person, honestly, looking back. We are no longer friends, and she was a very toxic person. So I mean, part of it was that, but part of it was also, I think that happens a lot in becoming a foster parent. And unexpectedly, of course, I was becoming a foster parent at the same time that a coworker who was right around my age got pregnant. And watching us parallel our parallel experiences into first-time motherhood was really interesting and often hurtful for me, if I'm honest, because we had a small office group, and everybody was always asking her about how she was, how she felt, and is she excited, and does she need anything. Nobody ever asked me those things. And I know it's a lot of that is selfish, but they are valid emotions that you have at the time, and it is hard to go it makes you feel a certain kind of way about your own value. So again, talk through those feelings with somebody if they come up, or bring them up in a Facebook support group if you're in them, and understand that it's totally normal. Well, come here in becoming a foster parent. And you know, again, like if I'd gotten pregnant, my coworkers would have thrown a baby shower. There aren't any baby showers in foster parent. Well, there are for some people. There are new child showers, there are foster showers, there are adoption showers. I didn't get that experience. And at the time, again, I was kind of hurt by that. But I was also at a different place and a different maturity level back then. Like if the same thing happened today, I'd be like, whatever, because it was a very short hurt. And I very quickly was like, I didn't become a foster parent for the baby shower, right? Like I became a foster parent because I want to start a family, and I want to help kids in need. And then I thought too, like baby showers are a fairly recent thing. Like I'm sure my mom didn't even have baby showers. Like those didn't even exist back then. I don't know how long they've been doing baby showers, but it's kind of just a new cultural thing even, right? So it doesn't make my experience less valid. It doesn't make me less valid or my kids less valid. But it's things to watch out for and maybe prepare your heart for if you need. And then, all those things go away once you get kids. Like all those hesitancies, all those fears, all those hurts. Once you get kids, you're so busy and so exhausted and so excited that it no longer matters. Okay, you can sit there, Lily. Stop. Which is really a relief. But I mean, again, I guess part of fostering older youth as well, nobody wanted to come meet my 11-year-old. Nobody wanted to hear about or asked about my 14-year-old when she moved in. It's just not, I don't know. And some people, I think they maybe are they have that support and those resources, but a lot of us are just kind of invisible out here fostering our adolescents. As opposed to when someone gives birth, like there's a lot of people bring over meals, a lot of people want to meet the baby. It's almost overwhelming, right? So just be prepared for the isolation of that journey and seek out fellow people who really do get it. And if you are alone out there, I'm here and I will totally be excited for you and with you. And I will definitely want to see pictures of your new children, and I'll be so proud. So, excuse me. But again, those emotions were very real at the time, but they were short-lived because, again, once you get the kids, all that goes out the window. You're just so happy. You're a new parent. You're so excited. And the blessing you have, whether you're religious or not, like really, the blessing you have is worth so much more than someone else's, like basically an acquaintance's caring or not caring. So, there you go. It is what it is. That one was a little more personal, but I don't know. Felt like, again, if it needs to be said sometimes, right? So anyway, if you're out there, you need anything, message me. Talk to you soon.